So today we have a problem with this toilet in the guest bathroom. Every once in a while, I hear it drain water for a few seconds and then stop. Clearly it's a leak, and if it does it enough, it's going to waste a lot of water. And I bought the part that I think is going to fix this leak. Let's see what's involved. Obviously, we first shut the water off. Like that. Get rid of as much water out of the tank as we can. After removing the top, you'll see this is some kind of special flush mechanism. It's about, 3 or 4 inches off the bottom. So even though I've emptied all the water, there's a ton of water that stays in the tank. Obviously that all has to come out before I take this tank out. This is the part I'm replacing here. So how do we get that water out? I'm going to try a siphon. Since the tank is much higher than the bucket, siphoning should work. Of course, this is fresh water in here. There's nothing wrong with sucking a little bit of the water if you were to get it in your mouth. And away it goes. Try to get as much as I can with the siphon, and that's about it. But that's most of it. The rest I'm gonna have to get out with like a sponge or a rag or something. Okay, got the water out of the tank. Now it's time to get those 2 bolts out. This tank will come out and I'll be able to replace this guy. Easiest way, a socket, a deep socket. Those are 1/2-inch bolts under the tank. So, before I forget, let's loosen the water hose, get that off. And this is where draining the tank well pays off. I shouldn't have anything come out of there. A little bit. Okay, bolt number 1. And bolt number 2. Okay, got the whole tank off. Here's the other side of that device, drain. This whole thing's gonna come off, but you've got a massive nut on here to get off. So let's knock these bolts out so they're not in my way, and figure out how we're gonna get that off. So this is a specially made sink drain wrench, made for large nuts on sink drains. Let's see if it'll work for the toilet. No, that's as wide as it opens, and that dog won't hunt. Time to go to Home Depot. Don't you love it when you have an excuse for a new tool? Okay, the nut's off. Let's get this chain off of here. And that whole thing is right out. Okay, so what I think was happening is I think this O-ring was leaking. Not much, just enough to occasionally force the valve to refill the toilet. So let's see what I got to replace this. And look at this. The new part came with a wrench for that large nut. So that's handy. Wish I'd known that. Doesn't hurt to put a little lube around that seal. All the way around. Got it positioned about where I want it. Get it nice and tight. Okay, new valve is in, nice and tight. But here's what was left on the toilet part. This is gasket. What may not be so obvious is you can't just put the tank back where it was without removing this. Why? Because you see the nut configuration on this gasket? That has to fit perfectly with this. If you just throw it on there, there's no way that by coincidence these are going to line up and fit nicely. And if you don't do that, you're not going to get a good seal. So we put it back on here. And clean this up to make sure we get a good seal. Okay, we've got the gasket back on, ready to put the tank back on. Okay, tank's back on. I can see daylight through the screw holes. So I know that I'm in the right position here. Let's put the screws on and put the rest of it back together. Another thing I like to do, but it's not super critical, is check the level. In this case, the left side needs to go up a little bit. Okay, now we have to reattach this chain like that, and the overflow goes back in the overflow tube. And then all we have to do is hook the water source back up. Okay. Yeah, that's correct. Let's see. Okay, it shuts off. I don't hear any leakage. Now the issue I had with this toilet was pretty intermittent. I'd only hear that water leakage once, because it's the guest bathroom, we don't walk in very much, but I don't know if this is actually fixed. I'll have to wait days to find out. You can hear it from other rooms, so if I don't hear it in a few days, I'll know. But for right now, I don't actually know that I fixed the problem, but I think I did. Anyway, that's all I have for today. I hope this was helpful. See you in the next one.